Hey, this is going to be a video for people in US specifically that are looking to acquire a company and they have fairly established credit, a little bit above 700s, and you have fairly good liquidity, preferably at least $50,000 and above, up to $1 million liquid. And this video is going to be for people who want to go and acquire these companies that are established, that have management team in place, are fairly absentee owner, meaning the business is not fully dependent on the owner. There's a team in place, typically 10, 12 more employees in the business. And you can delegate a lot of the functions of a business to different employees, such as service delivery, building the product, whatever the business model is. So if you're looking to do that, take a look at this video because I'm going to give you some context on how you can get it done quicker and how you can improve your success rate and what are the key things you need to kind of like consider in the process. So I'm going to talk about every single piece of a process, and then I'm going to talk about how you can actually work with us to do these deals. And if you want to have other partners to co-invest in you, this is also a good opportunity for that. So just a little bit of background on us. We've been involved in a little bit over $1 billion worth of transaction volume. We've done deals in between $1 million plus in revenue to up to $30 million in revenue in almost any industry you can imagine, specifically in US, Canada, and other parts of Europe as well. We've also done deals in Australia and other markets, but right now we're mainly focused in US and Canada. So if you're in US, pay attention to the video because it's going to be helpful to you. So let's go back to how this is actually going to work for you as far as you getting into a deal. So the first thing you want to actually understand when you're looking into a deal is you want to understand your criteria of deals. And the quicker way of understanding that is by looking at your location, looking at your financial targets, and essentially looking at your background you have. So let's say if you're in Boston right now, well, you want to look at deals close to that area. And if you're already making $150,000 a year today, and maybe you're self-employed, you have your own company, or maybe you're in the corporate world and you're an IT manager, or you're doing something else, then you want to get into a business that would allow you at least that income, right? You don't want to get into a business that's going to be sub that amount of income. So that's the first mistake people make. People look at, hey, let me just get into a laundromat. Let me go and buy a self-storage facility. Let me go buy some real estate. Let me do X, Y, and Z, but then they don't actually hit their income goal and they're stuck buying something that doesn't produce enough cash flow for them to get out of the current situation they're in. And a lot of people that want to go and buy companies, they want to have more flexibility. They also want to build wealth over time. So they don't want to get into a deal where you're not going to really tremendously increase your net worth after that, like a 300K asset or a 500K an asset. Most people typically want to add a few $1 million in net worth after they do some of these deals and take some of these big risks. A lot of people that want to get into the space want to take big risks to be able to build a lot more wealth, and in most cases, more than $10 million in net worth. A lot of our clients that we work with, they want to get above those numbers. So they're not going to consider very small deals. So that's the first mistake and the first thing you're going to need to solve. The second thing is, once you get a little bit more clear on your location, your income, and the types of industries you want to get in based on your experiences you have and based on your skills you have, you might want to understand how to find these deals. So there's two ways of really finding deals. There's ways where you go to a lot of these public databases of broker sites like bizbuysell.com in the US, or in Canada, for example, there's another website called Businesses for Sale, and it has a Canadian division and has businesses for sale in Canada. And what you do is you basically can look up certain businesses or certain criteria in that particular area you're in. And that's one way of looking at things. The second way of looking at things is you can actually build a marketing process to find businesses that are going to sell or are going to be selling right now from owners that are looking to retire. So what you can do is you can pull up a database of all these businesses close to that area, and you can basically specify, hey, I need to get a database of businesses above 10 to 12 employees up to 30 employees, and I want to make sure I pull the contact of a business owner, the CEO of that company. And you can pull that data up And then you can build a marketing engine to reach out to all these companies and ask them, hey, are you looking to potentially sell the business in the next 2 years? We want to have a conversation. We're a local buyer in the market and we're looking to acquire a company. And that's going to open up a conversation of these people so that you can go in and talk to them. And the second thing is you want to analyze these companies. You want to have a filtering process to as far as how you look at the actual information we're going to give you to decide if you want to make an offer or not. So a lot of the times when we work with people, in the first 2 weeks, we're probably going to look at 40 to 60 deals. And we're going to realize, hey, this is the deals that are available that fit the buyer's criteria. And let's say 7 or 10 out of them, we're probably going to like more versus the other 30 that we're not going to like as much. Because we're going to be too reliant on the owner. We're going to have too many failed add backs as far as the P&L. We're going to have different issues in the P&L on the balance sheet, and we're not going to be able to proceed with that deal. The client we have is basically not going to be happy with that level of income and those level of risks involved in the deal. So once we have a few deals we really like, after we looked at a lot of these deals, we might consider making an offer on some of these companies, and we'll go one offer at a time. We're not going to make 7 offers at 7 different companies at the same time. So we're going to have a scoring system. We're going to score the best deal out of these 7, and we're going to make an offer on some of these deals. Once we make an offer, we're typically going to go back and forth and renegotiate the offer for our buyer to get to a conclusion, to get to an offer accepted so that we can understand when we're going to start due diligence, when we're going to go and talk to financiers, SBA 7A lenders, or any other kinds of lenders, when we're going to need to go and get even more capital, when we're going to get an accountant in the door, a lawyer in the door, to make sure we start with due diligence process of a financing process. That typically takes 60 to 90 days. And the amount of money you need to put down on a deal, let's say you're buying a $2 million company, well, typically you need 5% out of that, up to 10% out of that. So if it's a $2 million company, as far as purchase price, you might need to put down $100K up to $200K in that deal. Now, the question is, where are you going to give out liquidity? Well, you can put some of your liquidity in the deal. Maybe you have a retirement account and you can use that and you can do a RUB structure. And essentially you can inject some of the money you have from a retirement account into the deal as an equity in the deal. Or maybe you have a home and you can get a HELOC on the home and you can actually inject that into the deal as well. Or maybe you have liquid funds set aside, or maybe you have friends and family that they can help you get into the deal. So you can borrow that capital from them, put it in the business, and then inject it in the deal and buy the business. Or you can just raise it from third-party accredited investors from us. We have thousands of accredited investors that can come into the deal and help you close the deal. We also invest in deals as an investment company in the US. So if you're looking at deals above $1 million EBITDA, we might look into some of these deals alongside with you and invest it and help you grow the operations of that business. So that's pretty much it as far as like getting the offer accepted, getting the financing, and how much you need as a down payment. And then once you actually do the due diligence, get the financing, get the SBA 7A approved, or get whatever commercial loan you need approved, or whatever creative financing you're going to need to go for to get the deal closed, then what's going to happen is you're going to start operating the business. Once you close the deal, you're going to get some working capital from the SBA 7A side, and you're going to try to use some of our working capital to, one, pay both accountants and lawyers in the deal, and keep using some of those funds to operate the day-to-day of that business. And you want to understand, in the due diligence process, through commercial due diligence, on the top 3 things you're going to focus on in the next 90 days in that business as far as growing that company. And ideally, you're putting yourself in a strategic position in the company. You're not really working 60, 70, 80 hours a week in that business. You're doing a more of a strategic CEO role where you're going to delegate a lot of these functions to the right people. You're going to improve the processes of that company. You're going to try to grow revenue and profitability. And ideally, you're going to look and find a second deal to buy. We've had clients that have bought 15 companies in 5 years. We've had clients who bought 10 companies in 5 years. We've had clients who bought 7 businesses in 3 years. So most people who really grow very quickly, they don't just grow organically by operating the business. They put the right people in the right seats and they go and buy a complementary business to grow revenue very quickly. So ideally, if you want to do that from A to Z, what we do is we have a very exclusive done for you format service where we would just come in, find the right deals for you, analyze these businesses, make offers, basically renegotiate some of these offers, help you get financing through our financing partners. If needed, we'll invest in the deal as well. If not needed, we're going to bring in outside third-party accredited people to invest with you, or you're just going to use your liquidity to invest in the deal, and that's it. And then we'll even help you with operations. We're going to give you the procedures, the playbook on how you can grow these companies. So if you're looking to do that, the best thing to do is just go on LinkedIn and find me on LinkedIn. I'm going to attach my LinkedIn profile in the description, and you can reach out. We can have a conversation about the whole process from A to Z. But hopefully this was helpful, and looking forward to helping you. Thanks.